In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, peace be upon you. Today is June 9th, Monday night in Pakistan, and among the most important news stories today, first up is from Mansehra, where Maulana Tariq Jameel was besieged. Yes, this is a report by Irshad Bhati. He reports that when Maulana Tariq Jameel was in Mansehra, he left his residence in order to attend a religious gathering where he was supposed to deliver an important sermon. As soon as he stepped out of his house, his path was unexpectedly blocked, and he was quickly surrounded. Trenches were dug, bridges were destroyed, and 27 vehicles were used to block his way. No matter which different route he tried to take, vehicles were parked on every path to stop him. In other words, he was completely besieged right where he was. After making several attempts and failing, he eventually returned home. All of this happened in Mansehra. Now, I think you already know we've discussed this before in a vlog what fault Maulana Tariq Jameel has supposedly committed and how he is being made a scapegoat by the Field Marshal. You may recall that we played Maulana Sahib's video messages for you from different interviews in which he actually spoke. In those, he talked about Imran Khan's patience, how much patience he has, how he is enduring imprisonment, and his bravery. Then he spoke about women's rights, the rights of prisoners, and then he addressed the judges directly, saying that on the day of judgment, those judges who make false or wrong decisions, their hands will be held accountable by Allah. They will be put on trial and they will be asked again why they did not make the decision with integrity. Why did you not act with honesty? Now, in reality, the true duty of a religious scholar is to speak the truth, to stand with the oppressed, and to oppose the oppressor. He may not be able to take up a sword, but through his words, his character, and his speech, he should reject injustice and make the tyrant ruler realize that one day he will have to stand before Allah. Exactly, this is what Tariq Jameel Sahib did, but since then he has become a target for criticism. And in everything we've told you, the Nawaz Sharif family and the Field Marshal have played a key role. This is not just our claimed respected scholars themselves have said this. We've already played you videos of more than 2 scholars who explained that as soon as Tariq Jameel Sahib made these statements, Nawaz Sharif and his family used their influence. They used those within the Tablighi Jamaat who were under their influence and began proceedings to block or expel him from the Tablighi Jamaat. Then, after 2 or 3 days, a statement was issued saying that he had been removed from the Tablighi Jamaat and now he is no longer allowed to deliver speeches. Whether it's Tablighi gatherings or any process related to the Tablighi Jamaat, he is now prohibited from speaking or participating in discussions. Now today the news is coming out that he has been formally confined. Listen to this, what Irshad Bhatti is saying. Did you hear that? Now in this whole scenario, one very important point is that Mansehra is in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa.
Barricades have been set up and bridges have been destroyed.
Now, in this whole scenario, one very important point is that Mansehra is in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. And if all of this has happened within Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, then obviously there are 2 possibilities. Either the police did it and they are within Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. We will also verify this, and for that we will approach the Chief Minister of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. We will bring this to his attention and try to figure out whether this was done by the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa police to Tariq Jameel Sahib. I don't think they would have done it. In my opinion, it was the Field Marshal himself who directly showed his kindness to Tariq Jameel Sahib, and he's being punished for speaking the truth. Even though our Field Marshal himself is a Hafiz Quran and he must have read the Quran and its translation, and he must have understood that standing up against a tyrant ruler is also a form of jihad, and standing with the oppressed is also a duty, something that Tariq Jameel Sahib is fulfilling. But despite this, Field Marshal, you have certainly made life quite difficult for them. Anyway, let's move on. As always, we will of course try our very best to keep you thoroughly updated on the follow-up to this news as well. But as you may already know, this is not the first time that a person has regrettably become a target simply for speaking the truth without a doubt. So the public should also raise their voice about this, and they should fully support Maulana Tariq Jameel in this matter, because his only fault is that he is trying to become the voice of the oppressed. Now let me present the next news to you. Jio TV aired a program related to Eid, hosted by Tabish Hashmi, who is one of their well-known anchors. He does a different kind of show which is humorous. I told you yesterday as well that people who do comedy shows, they are generally very intelligent and handle many things intelligently. Tabish Hashmi did the same. He made a remark on his show that made everyone laugh, even those who shouldn't have laughed, who should have felt embarrassed. They laughed too. All his friends laughed and the whole nation laughed as well. First, listen to what he said, and then I will analyze it and discuss where we have reached as a nation. And now, the oppressor doesn't even care anymore. There used to be a time, let's say, for the past 76, 77 years, we used to maintain a certain false or true image. By we, I mean our military generals. They wanted to preserve their image, to show that they had nothing to do with these things. But now, everything is out in the open and no one cares anymore. So, this whole issue of taking or snatching credit is going on right now, in which AC, that there was a skirmish lasting 3 to 4 days, and in that skirmish, the key role was played by the Air Force. But the poor Air Force has been sidelined, Sidelined, you don't see them anywhere. Instead, everywhere you look, you see the DG ISPR, you see field marshals, and you see corps commanders. You see them going into universities everywhere, and even here, the work hasn't stopped. So now they've sent an entire platoon onto television with the message that you have to take all the credit for this. But what did Tabish Hashmi say there? Just listen to this. You are watching Hasta Mana. As you can see, right now, I am among the army. But the good thing is, I am here by my own choice. You heard Ait said, today I am with the Pakistan army. But the good thing is, I am here by my own choice. Everyone laughed at this, even the officers and soldiers of our armed forces who were present also started laughing. But actually, this isn't something to laugh about. For any nation, it's something to cry over if someone has to say, I am with my army, but by my own choice. What he meant to say was that he hasn't been abducted. In other words, now the capacity or characteristic of abducting people has become associated with them. It's been stuck to them so firmly that it just won't come off. That image just won't go away. And I think now even they have become comfortable with it. They are enjoying that power as well. They feel that if this is how things are, then it's fine. Yes, we abduct people, we kill, we install cameras, we do everything. So now everyone has become comfortable with it. Earlier, this was only at the top level. The people below used to distance themselves from it. But now, it seems like no one is distancing themselves anymore. Everyone is saying, yes, this is exactly how it is. Listen once again to what Tabish Hashmi said and notice the smiles that followed smiles coming from all sides. Listen to this. Now that you've heard it, I'll just say this. I wish we wouldn't normalize this to such an extent. Whether it's the police or especially the armed forces, whenever a nation looks at its armed forces, they should always feel a sense of pride. They should be provided with a sense of security and they should feel a sense of belonging. They should not feel that these forces are going to abduct us, or feel relieved that at least they didn't abduct us. Or, as Tabish Hashmi says, I am here of my own will, not because I was abducted. This idea is almost attached to them like something stapled to a file, this notion that they abduct people. And as I mentioned before, they even seem ready to take full credit for it, almost with pride. Now, in this same session, another very important point was raised. And that important point was that judging by the uniform, I think it was Colonel Ali made a new announcement. Now, he made this announcement even though he is from the Pakistan military, not the Air Force. I don't know why he's speaking out on matters related to the Air Force. This also shows that we don't always wait for things to reach the level of generals. Sometimes some friends start right from the colonel level. Among them, this sense of superiority often starts right from the colonel level, especially over other forces. Even though he is a colonel, he should talk about the military, whatever he wants to say, and let the Air Force people speak for themselves. But he wants to tell the whole story of the Air Force himself. And now he has revealed that Pakistani Air Force pilots actually went into India. That is, they crossed into Indian territory and there. Now, in this matter, we don't understand whose statement we should consider correct and whose we should consider wrong. Because earlier the DGISPR had clearly said that neither did they come to our side nor did we go to theirs. Before that, Air Vice Marshal Aurangzeb Ahmed had also said that neither did they come nor did we go. Before that, the international think tanks and institutes that publish research have also released studies on this conflict. And according to them, neither did India come to our side nor did we go to theirs. In fact, the air-to-surface missiles that were fired from aircraft were launched while staying within their respective boundaries. All the trajectories, all the documentaries that have been made, all the research published so far, and all the claims from both sides have stated the same thing. Neither did India cross over to this side, nor did we cross over to theirs. In fact, this has been explained in great detail why the crossing did not happen. Air Vice Marshal Aurangzeb Ahmed explained this in great detail, if I'm not mistaken. And the DG ISI, Pyar Sahib also did, but now listen to what Colonel Ali has to say. along with the evidence he presents. They went inside. They have crossed the borderline. You heard that. So it has become a trend now. Anyone is making statements, giving loose statements, saying whatever comes to mind, because these days the trend is to grab as much credit as you can. Don't let anything go. Take whatever credit you can get. Now you might ask, what's the credit in this? I think so. Where Colonel Ali felt that since everyone else is taking credit, if nothing else, let me at least take credit for telling the story. Even though this was the Air Force's job to inform people whether we went inside or not, and they say we didn't go, Colonel Ali came up with a new version. Now, may God have mercy, who knows what our actual version is, did we go inside or not? Anyway, let's move on. Next, we have our defense minister who is on Form 47. I don't know whether he drinks alcohol or if, he has a cough and takes some syrup for it. Or maybe he just drinks a lot of water. I really don't know since I haven't sat with him. But his tweets, the ones that come after 11 p.m., are completely incoherent. He seems intoxicated. Those tweets have nothing to do with reality. He's stumbling, actually staggering. One tweet is falling this way, another that way. Day after day, he tweets things like, Pakistanis are a shameless nation. They're not standing up for the Muslims of Gaza. And it's not just Pakistani. She says such things about the entire Muslim Ummah. Maybe he thinks he's correcting people, but what I don't understand is that when he comes out of that stupor in the morning, whatever it is caused by, he goes right back to living the same shameless life as before. They spend the whole day in shamelessness, but by 11 at night, their shamelessness fades and suddenly they feel ashamed. So they post a new tweet. Now he said that those who have only a bond of humanity with Palestine have their conscience awakened, while we who have an eternal bond of faith have a dead conscience. Now, this person with a dead conscience is telling this to himself. But during the day, when whatever intoxication he's under wears off, what happens all day is that no one in Pakistan can raise the flag of Palestine. No one like Senator Mushtaq can show solidarity with the people of Gaza anywhere. If they do, then his wife and all the others will be arrested. And these shameless, conscienceless friends like Khawaja Asif will not have the decency to tweet for them at that time. But between 11 at night and 3 in the morning, during those 4 hours, they fire off these flashy tweets. And every day they pretend to be a warrior. So all I can say is that these are some kind of drunken revolutionaries. And as for these so-called simple revolutionaries, I don't think they really are. I'm not saying they've been drinking alcohol. I'm just saying they're the drunken type of revolutionaries. Maybe it's cough syrup. Maybe they've had too much water. I don't know why they post such rambling tweets. And it's not just them. Listen further. It's not just one person who thinks the public are fools. There are many people who think the public are fools. Farmers growing wheat in Pakistan have suffered heavy losses amounting to 2.2 trillion rupees since May 2024. This has already been reported by various newspapers, but now who is telling you and me about this? We'll tell you about that as we go further. Farmers are devastated, markets have been shaken, and food security is in serious jeopardy. This is being told to us by none other than Qasim Gilani, the son of Mr. Yusuf Raza Gilani. Yes, the same Yusuf Raza Gilani who is currently the chairman of the Senate, meaning he is part of the government, and the same Yusuf Raza Gilani whose leader Asif Ali Zardari is currently the president of Pakistan, the same Yusuf Raza Gilani whose party currently has governors in almost all the provinces. His son, who is a stakeholder in the government, is saying this at a time when just recently 25 or 35 crore rupees each were promised to Bilawal Zardari by Shehbaz Sharif. For every MNA, remember that. Yes, this is the same party that passed the 26th constitutional amendment with a brute majority. But now, just like Khawaja Asif, they also think the nation is foolish. They believe they can fool the people. Just look at their conduct who destroyed the farmers. It was you people, your own hands. But just think about it. They are the ones who inflict the wounds. And then they themselves come forward pretending to be the healers. For 77 years, since you have always been made fools of, their intention is to keep making fools out of you. Now, I don't know whether you will let yourselves be fooled again or not, but their efforts are in full swing. Khawaja Asif is trying to fool you on the religious front. And these people are trying to fool you on the agricultural and economic front. The decision is yours to make. How much longer will you allow yourselves to be fooled by these people? Alright, so the key points of Pakistan's National Economic Survey 2024-2025 have been released. I just want to quickly present some figures to you and you'll understand which direction Pakistan is heading in. The agricultural sector has seen a growth rate of only 0.56%. During Imran Khan's government, Pakistan's agriculture was growing at 4.4%. Now it's just 0.56%. Major crops have seen a 13% decline. and cotton has dropped by 19%. Agriculture's share in the GDP has decreased significantly. The growth rate in the industrial sector, which was reported as 4.7%, let me just clarify here that many of these figures have been fudged because in the first 3 quarters there was negative growth. For example, let me give you just one sector, the construction sector. In the first 3 quarters it was negative, and then in the fourth quarter the figures were suddenly manipulated to show growth. So there is a lot of dishonesty involved in this as well, and they claim that tax collection has increased by 25% in the first 10 months. They've also reported the literacy rates in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and everywhere else. We just told you recently that in Sindh alone, there are 47 lakh children who are out of school. 13 lakh children in Sindh are sitting on the floor because there is no furniture. So we have told you about the future of these 60 lakh children. Now, if you consider Punjab, its situation is 3 times worse than this, and then you will understand the state of affairs in Punjab. This is what is happening in the country. But despite all these issues, in front of you is the situation of 2022. The economy of 2022, Imran Khan's economy, let me present that to you. Due to the investment package, there was a 49% increase in the construction sector. Right now, we are telling you that the figures are being fudged, and in reality, there is negative growth. But back then, there was a 50% increase. In the last year of the PTI government, there was an increase in development activities. The health sector saw a growth of 2.3%, the education sector had a growth of 8.7%, and information and communication experienced a 12% growth. In the real estate sector, there was a 4.9% increase, while the IT sector grew by 11.9%. During the PTI era, IT exports saw a historic 29% increase. Percentage, 29% growth in services sector. The overall growth was 6.2%. In the hotel and restaurant sector, there was a 401% growth, yes, 401%. We are telling you about Imran Khan's government. I am not presenting figures from any other country. This is Pakistan in 2022 when Imran Khan was in power. These are all the figures from that time. These are the statistics from that time. And what's interesting is that as soon as the government was toppled in April, these statistics were released in May. In the first month, they kept the entire year's performance data. These numbers are not even ours. We did not fudge them. Just as you said earlier, and I told you about them, that the broken and incomplete numbers they provided were also fudged. So you might say that our numbers are also fudged. No, our government was toppled on April 9, and in May they released our entire scorecard, and I'm presenting those numbers to you. In that fiscal year, the GDP growth was 6% during Imran Khan's tenure. I'm talking about that particular year. The major crops, large industries and small production units not only met their growth targets, but actually exceeded them. Foreign exchange income reached 248,000. The target of 414 billion rupees, which the government had set, was also achieved. And all of this happened during and after the COVID period. If Imran Khan had been given another year or two, just imagine I'm talking about the same country whose current situation is extremely dire, yet there is no one to ask any question. And those who were actually supposed to hold them accountable are themselves complicit with them. Now, what is happening to the people? Let me show you a short video about this. Okra, sorry, I mistakenly said hundi instead of bhindi. Okra. The cost of cultivating okra on 1 acre is between 55 to 60,000 rupees, while farmers are being forced to sell okra for just 1 rupee per kilo. But now Mariam Nawaz will come and tell you, look how cheap I have made okra for you. She will take credit for it, but she won't think about the person who actually grows the okrati, very chicken from which these eggs are being taken, has been slaughtered by you people. So tomorrow, where will you get the eggs from? The farmers have been destroyed. Listen to what this farmer is saying.
The day before yesterday, the bakery was selling for 200 rupees. Today, the bakery in Pindi is asking for 0 rupees. That means 0 rupees per kilo. Pujar PA is asking, look at the situation in Pindi. Show Pindi quickly. Everyone in Pindi is watching. Pujar PA is asking. Pujar PA is watching.
But this is what has happened. This is the moral decline we are facing. The kind of moral decline, for example, when Fiza Ali said to Suhail Warich, who you could call ma'am at that moment, and on social media, this one statement of hers broke all previous records. In that statement, she said, Suhail Warich, if you were not a journalist, then abroad you would be cleaning the bathroom of some restaurant or some place. And she said, I am saying this because whenever you interview actresses, you always end up in their bathrooms. So you have a very deep interest in bathrooms. So what has become of the values of our journalism? Let me play for you something from Javed Chaudhry. Sometimes we are a bit unfair to Javed Chaudhry, but our friend Qasim Suri recently tweeted something. All I can do is advise him against it. And I said, I can only advise him. Similarly, there's S. Ahmedim too. I tell him not to use abusive language at all, to speak without it. But both of them often call them Jida Changar, which I think is an inappropriate term. As far as I know, Changar refers to gypsies or to people who speak one language one day and another the next. I don't know much. You can clarify. But in any case, I would tell both friends that they should even call Javed Chaudhry Jida Changar in this way. But the word Changar itself seems inappropriate. Perhaps its meaning isn't very good. So my wish is that these friends, instead of saying Jida Changar, just call him Jida Ji. Let's try to avoid using the word Changar. Now, let's listen to what Jida Ji is actually saying. Listen to what he used to think about inflation during Imran Khan's time and what he thinks about inflation now.
And the Prime Minister has taken strict notice of inflation. He himself is causing inflation and then taking notice of it. What does that even mean? Remember, inflation is not really a thing in the world.
In fact, if I say that there is no such thing as inflation in the world, you might look at me very strangely. You might feel that I've lost my mind, that maybe I've gone crazy. But the truth is, my brothers and sisters, that there is no such thing as inflation in the world. There is only affordability. If you can afford it, then even a brand new Boeing airplane is cheap. And if you can't afford it, then even if the price of wheat is cut in half, you still won't be able to buy it. If the price of sugar is halved, you still won't be able to buy it. And if the government reduces the price of cooking oil by 60%, even then you won't be able to buy it because you simply can't afford it. Did you hear that? So when the moral level of a nation falls to this point, or when the so-called people who sit and give lectures have this level,
May God protect us. Allow me to take my leave now. May God be your supporter and helper. Long live Pakistan.